Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Leonard Leans Left. While it's still legal. Is it still legal? I'm not sure. Things are changing rapidly all the time. I'm not in a El Salvadorian Supermax prison yet, so that's good. As always, thank you for tuning in. If you're tuning in, appreciate it. I am Bruce Leonard. Welcome. There's a lot to get to today, again, as usual. A lot of stuff going on. It's, let's start with the most basic thing. Okay, there's a reason why Trump is doing everything with these executive orders, because most of what he's trying to do is illegal. And they know this. And so they're trying to push the bounds of executive power by enacting everything through executive order and through the president. And then when you try to challenge that, they say, you can't challenge the president. He has ultimate authority. And apparently these people haven't read the Constitution, or they don't know how a constitutional republic is set up. Or they do, and they just want to destroy it. You know, I mean, I haven't figured that part out yet. If they're just too fucking stupid to understand how it works. But what they've done is there's three branches of government. Let's start real simple, like a high school civics class. If you didn't take it, or you don't remember it, it's been a long time. The Constitution set up the government in this way because, first of all, we had a revolution, so we didn't have a fucking king. Okay, they didn't want to have a king, a guy with ultimate power. That's not what they wanted. That's what they were fighting to get rid of. So then they came up with this system to replace that. And to keep that from happening, they set up three co-equal branches of government. The executive branch, well, let's start with the Congress. The Congress, whose job is to write the laws. And they're, as you know, comprised of representatives from all over the country who represent districts from all over the country. There's a House, which has all the representatives, and then each state has 2 senators. And they're in the Senate. And they write the laws. And in order to write a law, both houses have to pass it. They made it so it's not easy to write laws. It's difficult. And that all the voices need to be heard when they write these laws, so that everybody can get a say in how things go. The executive branch, which is the president, is supposed to execute those laws and make sure that they're executed, and also to be in charge of national defense, to be the commander-in-chief of the military and all that stuff. Okay? And the judiciary, the courts, they're there to check the executive branch, because you can't. Founding fathers, who everybody on the right claims to love, did not want a unitary executive, a king. They did not want that, so they set up the court system to be a check on the executive branch. And now, I saw Stephen Miller today. No, Stephen the Nazi, I call him. Hey, there's Julia. Thanks for being here, as always. So anyway, Stephen Miller was, little Stephen the Nazi was on Fox News, going on and on about how these district court judges don't have the right to stop the executive from doing whatever he wants And I'm like, well, Little Stevens obviously never read the Constitution, or if he did, he he didn't give a fuck about what was in it. Because these people are fascists. They want an authoritarian leader. They want a king. Anyway, so his point he was trying to make was that before 2017, there wasn't that many injunctions in federal court against presidents trying to execute their policies. And when it's only until Trump and we came along that all these things are going on. And yeah, because you're the most unlawful fucking people that we've ever seen. So it stands to reason that yes, there are more injunctions against you because you've been trying to do a bunch of illegal shit. Almost everything they've done is illegal on some level. You know, either it's not their place, like it's not the. If you don't know, here's another civics lesson. If you don't know, the federal agencies are set up by the Congress. They're created by the Congress, by an act of Congress, a law that's written that creates these institutions. Okay? The executive branch doesn't have the authority legally to unilaterally just get rid of an institution that Congress has put into place. There's a reason why the government is set up the way it is, and that's to keep the power split amongst the three branches so that no one of those branches can become too powerful. What Trump wants to do is blow up the presidency to he wants to be Vladimir Putin, basically. And he already got the Congress. They figured out how to do that. They just primaried all of the non-Trump nutlickers out of office and replaced them with people like Tommy Tuberville, who are dumb as fuck and would just do whatever Trump says. And that's why then they got the majority. So now the Democrats basically have no power. And the Congress, who should be standing up, because one of the Congress's jobs is to do oversight in the executive branch. Well, you're not going to have any oversight if all you have in the Congress is a bunch of nutlickers. And that's what we have now, and that's why there's no oversight. People are starting to wake up, though. Today they were down at the post office, and the guy was outside, and he was saying, I know for a fact that a lot of my people supported Trump. They voted for Trump, and now he's stabbing them in the back. It's like, yeah, what did you expect he was going to do? These people, like I said, it's unbelievable to me that they still hold some kind of idea that Trump gives a shit about them. Trump doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't give a shit about me. It doesn't matter if you're a mega person or not. The January 6th pardons is throwing a bone to those people so he can pretend like, look, I care about you. But as soon as he pardoned those people, what do? He started going after all the shit. Because it's a subterfuge. It's a bullshit. Like I said, he doesn't care about you or me or any of us down here. He only cares about rich people and making rich people richer and making himself more powerful. It's called an oligarchy, but we're not going to get all into that because, like I said, obviously the average American doesn't even understand the constitutional system that they live under. So to try to go into another thing would be getting ahead of ourselves. I'll do another show about oligarchy where I'll explain that all to you, how that works. But let me tell you this though: oligarchy is not democracy. And it's already happening. Like I said, the judge. Let's go back to one of my pet peeves right now. Okay, if you're not aware or concerned about this El Salvador thing, you fucking need to be. Okay, because what happened was they just jacked up a bunch of people off the street, put them on planes, and sent them to El Salvador and locked them into that super hellhole, supermax prison. And now it's coming out that, like I told you, they weren't all criminals. They weren't all gang members, which means that some innocent people got sent to Supermax prison in El Salvador. Now they're stuck there. Yes, Julia says he wasn't talking to his rally attendees when he would say, if they can do this to me, they can do it to you. He was talking to his wealthy friends, but average mega voters thought he meant them. Yes, exactly, because he's going to do it to them. He's already doing it. Anyway, I'm laughing, but I'm very angry about this situation because here's the deal. So the judge told them, hey, you can't deport these people. They did it anyway. They defied his court order. So he wants to know why you defied the court order. And now they won't even answer his questions. Today he's asking them, when did the planes take off? Who was on these planes? I want to know who's on the planes. And they told him they can't tell him. And they invoked some secret privilege that it's national security, why they can't tell you who these people are. Now, what does it have to do with national security to know who they jacked up, put on a plane and sent to El Salvador and put in a Supermax prison with no warrants and no due process in a court to prove that these people are criminals? So this guy's got tattoos. He's in a gang. That seems to be the how they did this. They say, "Oh, we thoroughly vetted these people. They're criminals." Like, well, then show me the vetting. Oh, we can't do that. Why not? Because it's national security. Why is it national security? We knew who the people were that did 9/11, right? We knew who Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was, right? They told you who he was. They told you why they were putting him in Guantanamo Bay, and you knew he was there, correct? These are, I don't even know how many of them there are. It's 3 plane loads of people, so it's hundreds of people. These are hundreds of people that they just disappeared into El Salvador Supermax prison. No names, no files, no records, no, this guy's in this gang. How do we know this? This is how we know it. Like, there's none of that. They just grabbed up a bunch of people and sent them down there. Now, why are they doing this? Okay, well, I know why they're doing it, because it's just like I told you before. Their story about all these immigrants being criminals and gang members and fucking murderers and rapists is bullshit. It's pure 100% bullshit. And they're already running against it. And you go, all these deportation numbers aren't as high as you said they would be. And we're not shipping out enough people. Well, then we need to lower the standards. And we need to get up the numbers. And then they go, oh, look, here's 300 people. We just sent them out. Knew what somebody said on TV? They said, I think it was Fox. They said, oh, well, Trump does this because he likes the visuals. It's a good visual. What do you mean it's a good visual? This isn't reality television. These are people's fucking lives. But yeah, sure, it's scary to see that and say, oh, look at that. You could wind up in a Supermax prison. Who are those people? They're not, they're all gang members. They're not gang members. What happened was, people recognize people by seeing those films. And they say, hey, wait a minute. That's my cousin Jose. He's the soccer player. He has a tattoo, yeah, but it's Real Madrid. He's not a gang member. But somehow now he's in Supermax prison. Now, how do they get him out of there? There's no lawyers. He's not even in the United States. It's a clusterfuck of shit. Okay? And then they're on the radio talking about, oh, this judge, he's overstepping his bounds, and he shouldn't be asking questions about what. I laugh because I have to. It's fucking insane. It's insane that we're even having this conversation. And it's insane that even those people don't see the danger to themselves. They think, oh, it's great, let Trump have ultimate power. Look, you didn't vote for a king. You voted for a president. The president is the president of the United States of America, which is 3 co-equal branches of government. Yes, Julia says, no paper trail, no due process, no nothing. He and his ilk don't view brown and black people as humans. They don't give a fuck. He's a goddamn dictator, period. Viktor Orban and Putin taught him. Yes. Or they tried to. He's too fucking stupid to. Well, they picked the wrong fight, I believe, because this judge that they're fucking with is a serious dude. And they tried to say, oh, he's a Democrat activist. He was appointed to the federal court by George W. Bush. He was raised to the district court by Barack Obama, but he was appointed by George W. Bush. And in his career, he's came down on both sides numerous times. He was the one who ordered the release of Hillary Clinton's emails off of her private email server. That's not a Democratic activist. He was appointed head of the FISA court by John Roberts himself, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. You think that he's going to appoint a Democratic activist, and he's also now head of the immigration court, which is why they're having this fight. Because he already sees that they want to break the law. This guy's a letter of the law guy. He doesn't fucking care if you're a Democrat or Republican. He reads the law and he interprets it the way a judge is supposed to. So, why did they ship those people out, even after the court told them not to? Well, because you got a bunch of innocent people on these planes. You're going to get caught. Let's say they didn't deport these people and they brought them all off these planes. Well, pretty soon everybody's going to start looking at these people and go, hey, wait a minute. These aren't gang members. These aren't terrorists. This guy's a soccer player. This guy's a fucking works at a hotel or whatever. I mean, I don't know who they are. I only know really the story of the one guy who his family says he was a soccer player. He came from, I can't remember what, they're trying to see, Julia says it won't matter how tough the judge is, they're castrating the entire judiciary. They're trying to. But this guy that they've run across, this guy's a pit bull. He's not gonna fucking, I don't believe he'll back down. He already told them they gotta show up at 10 o'clock tomorrow, and someone in a cabinet position who's in power has to show up and explain to him why they have to invoke this privilege and why it's national security interests that they can't even tell him in private who's on these fucking planes. This is the gig. There's innocent people involved in this, and they don't want you to know that. So they're going to fight tooth and nail to not tell you who these people are. They want you to think that, oh, they're doing this incredible job of rounding up these criminals and rapists. And, then here, I'm going to say it one more time. I said it before on the last episode, but I'm going to say it again, okay? No one is for criminals staying in America. If you can prove to me that a guy is in MS-13 or whatever other that gang is, the Venezuelan gang, I don't remember the fucking name of it, and you can prove to me that this guy's a criminal and he's a dangerous person, he's a member of this violent gang, then yes, deport him. I don't give a fuck what you do with him, to tell you the truth at that point. If you can prove to me that the guy's a criminal, then I'm all for it. What you can't do is just make a blanket statement that anybody you don't like or anybody who doesn't look the way that you think they should look, or anybody that fits the profile that you have, brown skin, tattoos, speak Spanish, get them. That's not how we do things. They deported a woman who's the mother of 4 children, been living here for 30 years. Deported her. But she's not a criminal. She's not. Yesterday, a scientist. Now this should scare the shit out of you. Yesterday, a scientist from France was trying to get into to go to some kind of science conference in Texas, and they stopped him at the airport, and they searched his shit, including his phone and his computer. And in his phone and his computer, he had criticized Trump for his position on science and cutting all the science, money and all that stuff. And the I guess the USA, because that has stuff to do with science. And they fucking denied him entry to the country, kept his shit, and sent him back to France. They said criticism of Trump could be considered terrorism. I'm not making this up. They said criticism of Donald Trump could be constituted as terrorism. I'm telling you now, if you think that they can't do that to you, you're fucking... you're deluding yourself 100%. And I don't care if you voted for the guy and you're for what he's trying to do. And like I said, I'm for what he's trying to do. Same as the Doge. Waste, fraud, and abuse, sure. If you find waste, fraud, and abuse, get rid of it. Cut it. I'm all for it. They haven't showed one bit of waste, fraud, or abuse. They just cut a bunch of shit they don't like. Shit that's been on the conservative wish list to cut for years and years and years. But they never could do it because the Congress ain't going to cut it. So they're like, oh, well, just Musk will just go in here and cut all their waste, fraud, and abuse. But they didn't find no waste, fraud, and abuse. If the same thing. If they did find waste, fraud, and abuse, why don't they show it? Why don't they say, hey, look, here's some wasteful shit that was going on, we cut it. Good. I'm all for it. But see, here's what they do, the same thing. They do the zero-sum game. They go, oh, if you're not for Doge, then doing just cuts with no fucking oversight whatsoever, and you're for waste, fraud, and abuse. It's like, no. No one's for that. Julia says, that shit they're trying to pull with deciding who's Jewish and who isn't has me nervous. Tempted to stop women Star David, too many mega around. Yeah, well, that's been going on for a while. And if you're Jewish, I mean, I can see the conundrum, because you got to worry about both sides. Right? You got to worry about some crazy leftist going to blame you for Netanyahu killing a bunch of Palestinians. See, Netanyahu's putting you in danger. That's another thing that Jewish people don't seem to realize is, these right-wing people aren't the answer. They're making you more in danger. You're more likely to have someone attack you from either side because of what he's doing. Let's talk about him for a second. They had a ceasefire agreement, right? Then the other day, for no apparent reason, he just decides he don't want to go along with the agreement that he fucking made, and he just starts shooting bombs back in Gaza, kills 500 fucking people. Many women, many children. He says, this is just the beginning. And then dig a little into it. See, I don't just... When I see something like that happen, I dig a little into it. And I found out some shit. Netanyahu fired some security person in the government, and the people there are mad at him for doing that, and they're about to start protests again. It seemed like they I don't understand how Netanyahu's still there. It seems like more half of Israel hates his fucking guts. He's like Trump. Yes, Netanyahu. See, Julia, who is a Jewish person, says Netanyahu is a fucking monster, no different than Putin. Right, that's what I'm saying. These extreme right-wing people. They just want power. That's all. So anyway, I dug into it, and so he fired the security chief or something like that. But remember, he was already trying to get rid of like the Israeli Supreme Court or some shit. That was like last year. He wasn't able to get away with it, but he was trying to like get rid of it. He's just like Trump. He'll do anything to to maintain his power. And he doesn't care, and he's worse than Trump because he doesn't care how many fucking people he's got to fucking bomb or for whatever for his political ends. Anyway, so I didn't even get to finish. Um, he fired the security person, and these people are mad. Then he has to pass a budget by, I think they said, yeah, it was a couple of days ago, they said he had 10 days to pass this budget. Well, his far right war cabinet minister left the government because of the ceasefire and said he wouldn't come back to the government unless the war was back on. So Netanyahu needs these votes to pass this budget. So all of a sudden the ceasefire is off and he starts bombing the shit out of them. And oh, what's going to happen? Oh, his buddy's going to come back to the government and put the votes in that he needs to maintain his coalition to keep his power. Meanwhile, women and children getting blown away in Gaza again. I mean, this world, like I said, the world itself is, it's out of control, man. Like, I've never seen it like this, and I've been following politics my entire life. I mean, there's been little shits here and there, like nothing like this. The world is on fire all over the place. And now, Trump said that he wants to take America, step down from being the head commanders of NATO. Who you think told him that? Two Republicans who run the Pentagon Oversight Committee or something, they put out a statement, which is in of itself pretty amazing because there ain't been no Republicans willing to speak up about anything Trump's doing. But when he started talking about removing us from the command of NATO, these guys stepped up and put out a statement, say, hey, wait a minute. This is going to have long-term ramifications that I don't think that you really understand. Like, we need to be in charge of NATO. I told you before, if Trump gets his way, take us off of NATO, and we're going to shun all of our traditional allies, and he's going to buddy up with Vladimir Putin, and him and Xi and Trump will try to carve up the world in some, like I said, Middle Ages fucking view of they're the world powers and therefore they should, He's a colonialist. He wants to go, the world to go, and why do you think Elon Musk has jumped up to fucking do this? Because he's an apartheid cunt. He wants the apartheid back, probably all over the world if he could put it. This is all about, like I said, reestablishing white dominance over everyone else. How it's always been the traditional way things have been. The Europeans in charge of everything and everybody else fucking, second-class citizens. Anyway, Julia says, that's because Bibi had been brought up on charges, was facing conviction in prison. Yes, exactly. He's trying to stay in power and stay out of prison. Yes. Yes. That's why he was trying to dissolve that court. Rather than face it. They're criminals. Yes, they had to. So Trump had a call with Putin and said, we're going to end this war. He comes out. Putin has agreed to, well, it's not a ceasefire, but a limited ceasefire. He's not going to bomb any energy, any of the infrastructure of the Ukrainians' energy. And 1 hour later, he bombed them. 1 hour. Yeah, he respects Trump. He doesn't respect Trump. Trump's a fucking moron. He's playing him like a fiddle. And Trump doesn't care because he just feels powerful being in the presence of these people. Orban's still in power in Hungary, but I don't know if you've been watching, but there's thousands of people out in the streets because he had a political rival, I guess, like Navalny was to Putin. Instead of killing him, he had him arrested. And because he's arrested, all these people came out in the street. I mean, thousands of them. And Hungary, I don't know what's going to happen. I think Orban is like, I think he's been in power for 14 or 15 years, but I think they're getting sick of him. And especially Trump. I think Trump is exasperating the situation because they see him sucking up to Trump and everybody hates Trump. That's another thing you don't get. Everybody hates Trump in the world. We're not coming, like I said before, we're not coming back from this anytime soon. Like, our trust in the world is gone. No one can trust us. They can't even, like, if you ask me, I bet you they're already keeping secrets. I bet there's lots of intelligence that they would have once shared with us that they're not going to share with us anymore because they can't trust it. Trump won't turn around and give it to Vladimir Putin. Canadians hate us. Now the Mexicans hate us. It's like we're going to be surrounded by people that hate us. And he's sitting in Washington, like half the country hates him, and his people are starting to turn too. Soon, he'll lose them. Now, will the Congress grow a backbone then and kick him out of office? No, probably not. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting. But like I said, they're already trying to attack the judiciary now and threaten to impeach judges that rule against Trump. Like it's illegal. It's illegal to rule against Trump doing anything he wants. It's unbelievable. If you weren't watching it in real time, you'd be like, there's no fucking way that this is real. And especially not in America. I said, I do believe that people are starting to wake up and realize that, like, they fucked up. And it might have taken them a long time to admit it, but when he starts cutting their jobs and cutting their fucking Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare and cutting the VA and all these veterans are out, you know, like, hey, it's pretty easy to say then, hey, man, I'm sorry I fucked up. AOC and Sanders were out in, they're out in Las Vegas right now. I wish I was there. But, they were talking to a guy, an 80-year-old Vietnam veteran, and he voted for Trump. And now he's like, hey, I voted for him, but this is fucking bullshit. And then we need to get out in the streets. And he's 80 years old. He's like, I'll put my wife in a wheelchair and take her out in the street too. Like, we need to get out in the street. And I'm like, hey, Trump's gonna have a problem on his head. See, I think that Trump had this idea that because this is his second term and theoretically he's not gonna run again, even though they keep talking about trying to run him for a third term. He's not gonna make it to a third term. I know it. Yes, that's what I said. If they make a law that says he can run for a third term, go, hey, well, all right then, here's Barack Obama. And that'd be the most hilarious thing of all. You fucking lose to Barack Obama, his head will explode. But anyway, I don't believe that's going to happen because, like I said, you need to change the Constitution. And to do that, you got to need 2/3 of the states to ratify a constitutional amendment, and that ain't going to fucking happen, especially now after all this shit. You think people are gonna vote to let him run for office again after the shit he's done. He ain't even been in office for, what is it, March? It's January 20th, so it's March 20th. He's been in office for 2 months. He ain't been in 100 days. And he's already fucked up so much shit. And now on April 2nd, he's calling it Liberation Day. He's going to put all these tariffs. He's going to crash the economy. Here's something funny that you might not know. Do you know where he got all this philosophy about the tariffs and all this stuff? You know where this is coming from? President McKinley, 1910 or some shit. I think he was president after Theodore Roosevelt. I'm not 100% sure, but it's around that time, early 1900s. It wasn't even cars. And that's how they were. And even that, at that time, the tariffs, it didn't work, crash the economy, led to the Great Depression. But this is where these ideas come from. He thinks that he can replace the income tax with tariffs. That's what I think that he believes. And then that's always been the right-wing fantasy. Or they'll abolish the income tax altogether and then use tariffs to make up the difference. But that doesn't explain like what'll happen when you put the tariffs on. Is like everyone pays for the fucking tariffs through the prices of their goods. That's why it blows up the economy and causes a depression, recession. Nobody can afford anything because it's too fucking expensive. Stuff's already expensive. Now you're gonna tariff it and make it more expensive. This is brilliant economic policy. Meanwhile, the Secretary of Commerce is on the news telling people they should buy Tesla stock. This is the most openly corrupt shit you've ever seen in your life. And these fucking Trump cultists, they don't even care. They love it. That's how you know people are fanatics. When you turn on your radio, just turn on your local right-wing radio station and listen to them. They flop around and make any excuse for why this is all good. This is all acceptable. Trump should have unlimited power to do whatever he wants. And yeah, sure, it seems like he's fucking shit up, but in the long run, this is gonna be good. Like, how long is that? How long of a run are we talking about here? Julia says, well, with the way they just ignore the Constitution now, it wouldn't surprise me if he decides to run regardless of what it says. He can't. He can't. It's illegal. I mean, I guess theoretically he could, but then you're off the chart of like, you might as well just throw the Constitution into the fucking garbage can. I mean, that's where they're headed. And then just abolish the Constitution altogether, which is ironic because, like I said, for years and years and years, all the right-wingers did was carry around that little Constitution in their pocket and wave it in your face and say, this is why I'm allowed to have a gun, and this is why I'm allowed to... Now they want to throw that shit in the garbage. It's hilarious. And like I said, they're on the radio today on my way home. I always listen on my way home. Listen to them for about, 10 or 15 minutes is usually all I can stand before I turn back to sports radio. but I do listen to hear what they're saying. And today they were saying the same thing. It's like, well, if a judge could just get in the duly elected president's way, then it's just chaos. It's like, no, it's not chaos. It's the system. That's how it works. And you know what? You wouldn't be in court if you weren't trying to do shady shit. Everything you're doing is shady as fuck. You know, why are all these lawsuits? Because you fucking state attorneys generals and shit. They're not going along with this shit. Plus, what you're doing is illegal. See, this is the part that I don't understand. They have the Congress. They have the votes. They could do anything they wanted theoretically if they could pass the fucking law or bills, but they can't because their majority is so small. Julie, did you see the story about him wanting the original Constitution? I think it was the Declaration of Independence, but yeah, he wanted to hang it up in the Oval Office. The original. Can you take it out of the secured, temperature-controlled, environment where they preserve that shit because it's 200-something years old? Like, no, just bring it here, hang it on the wall like it's some kind of poster I bought at Walmart. You just watch it deteriorate over the 4 years of his term till it just falls to dust. I mean, it's so fucking stupid. These people are stupid. Like I said, we've elected idiots to run this fucking country. And not only are they stupid, they're fucking evil. They're evil and stupid. That's a dangerous combination. And anytime Steve Miller talks, I think he's gonna blow a head gasket. He fucking turns all red and he fucking. It's actually humorous to watch, but it was just funny because when he was on CNN, he was screaming. He was screaming at Casey Hunt. I mean, screaming. And then today he was on Fox on the Will Kane show. Like, who the fuck is Will Kane? What is this factory that Fox News has? Where they just shit out these douchebags that you never fucking heard of, and they go, these people are experts on everything. Here's Jesse Waters and Will Kane and former writer for Men's Health Greg Gutfeld. These are experts of world, politics, and you're like, who the fuck are these people? It's like a factory, like where they shit out talking head douchebags who are like, why should I give a fuck about Jesse Waters' political opinion about any fucking thing? Who the fuck is he? I never. He was Tucker Carlson's producer. When they fired Tucker Carlson, they were like, get in the chair. Now it's him. Same as Laura Ingraham. Oh, God. I can't stand to listen to Laura Ingraham talk for one fucking minute. Her voice just fucking is like an ice pick through my fucking brain. Like, oh my God. Laura Ingram's such a bitch that her fucking own family hates her guts. Her brother's gay and he hates her. Hates her. They don't even talk, I don't think. Or if they do, the Ingram family Thanksgiving's got to be a fucking... There's a reality show I'd watch. The Ingram family Thanksgiving. You can just have one episode a year. I'd fucking watch the shit out of that. They're gonna kill each other this year. When he just like fucking snaps and stabs her in the neck with a turkey bone. Watch, he's trying to say that he grooms children or some shit. It's like that, the groomers. Everybody's a groomer. Again, there was another mega person today got arrested for. It's like every single day, some right wing mega person is arrested for child pornography or child sexual abuse or trying to fucking meet some fucking 15-year-old girl that he met online, and they say everybody else is grooming people. Like I said, that guy says Trump derangement syndrome is mental illness. It's like, you know what else is a mental illness? Being a fucking pederast, bro. What are you doing online trying to meet a 15-year-old girl, asking her when she turns 18? Oh, yeah, that guy resigned today from the Minnesota Senate because they were going to remove him from office. So rather than wait for that to happen, he sent an email to Governor Waltz and recused himself from the Senate. Pretty soon he's going to recuse himself from society while he sits in prison for a few years. Well, he might not get sent to prison, but he's going to probably have to register as a sex offender and probably be in house arrest or something. I mean, I don't know. They should send him to prison. That's the other thing. Remember, their whole fucking thing is about, oh, we love children. We're going to protect the children. Meanwhile, they're all fucking, they're all banging the kids. Nobody seems to care. It's unbelievable. You hear my mom talking on the phone? I have to fucking live like this all the time with TV up at 80 fucking volume 80, and she's got headsets in as well, so she can't hear a goddamn thing you're saying. And I was talking about the El Salvador thing. I've been talking about it since it happened. And she's like, why are you so worked up about it? I'm like, what do you mean? Why aren't you? I mean, I guess she's getting close to dying, so I can see why she says, oh, I can't do nothing about this or whatever. But, hey, I got to live here for a while longer. And I don't feel like fucking living in a shithole fucking dictatorship. We'll have to worry about they're gonna jack me up, and even if they do, I'm just never been a person to keep my mouth shut. It's got me in trouble, but it's also helped me tremendously. I've made a career out of it. I mean, running my mouth. So it's a double-edged sword. It works for you. Sometimes it works against you. It's just like when I work. I said I let them know, like, hey, you know, this isn't really my life. I'm just here to get money because I need money. And for years I wasn't working. I was doing comedy for a living. Like, the only reason I'm not touring doing comedy right now is because of this situation with my mom. And I'm not complaining about it at all. It's what I have to do. It's part of being a son and having a family. You know, you gotta take care of your own. Ain't nobody else gonna take care of her. So in the meantime, I gotta sacrifice. So I can't run my mouth on stage. That's why I'm sitting here talking to you. Because I gotta get it out somehow or I'm gonna fucking go crazy. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, the El Salvador thing. Listen, you can't take this lightly, and you can't let them get away with this. And we got to get those people back from El Salvador. One day in that place is way too long for any person who's not a criminal to be. Well, if he wasn't a criminal before, he's going to be one now. It's like, what do you think he's gonna come out of there? He's gonna be a better fucking person. What you do is ruin lives, and he's just one person. There's probably hundreds of them. I don't know how many people they took down. I think it's like 300. They won't give any numbers. They won't tell how many people were on the planes, who they are, what they were accused of. They just say they're terrorists and gang members. How do you know that? Because we said so. We thoroughly vetted them. They had tattoos. It's like, what the fuck? And instead of being pissy about or mad about that, these guys on the radio were talking about, why is this judge trying to get in the way of... And I'm telling you right now, if you think for 1 second that they're going to stop there, you got another fucking thing coming. Like Mahmoud Khalil should tell you. He's not even an immigrant. He's a permanent resident with a green card. He's not even accused of a crime either. And the only reason they didn't ship him off to fucking El Salvador is because the judge got in the way and told him they can't deport him. Again, the only thing saving him was the judge. And they're all over the TV and all over the radio talking about, oh, these activist judges are stopping. Thank fucking God. I mean, first of all, just because someone rules and you don't like the ruling doesn't make them a fucking activist. Like, you're only in this position because you're trying to do shady, illegal shit. You're trying to violate people's rights and stamp out freedom. Really. And give yourself ultimate power to do whatever you want. And that's not the way it works here. They showed a town hall meeting in Wyoming. I don't know if you've ever been to Wyoming. There ain't many Democrats in Wyoming. This whole story about all these people at the town halls, they're not constituents. They're paid for by leftists. And they're paid protesters to show up at the town hall and cause trouble. Well, they're in the middle of Wyoming. There ain't no Democrats in Wyoming. If you want to bring a bunch of people into Wyoming who are paid protest, you're going to need buses and shit, and people are going to see that. No, these were the constituents, and they were yelling and screaming at the fucking Republicans. Their congressperson, I can't even remember who it was. It was a woman. And they're yelling at him and screaming, and they're pissed. And even then, these people, they still kneel down to Trump. I mean, that's what I'm saying, is the only way to break this is either to vote these people out of their seats and vote in someone who will stand up to Trump, or those people will finally understand, like, hey, I'm going to lose my seat if I don't fucking do something, and they're going to stand up to him. That's the only way. Because right now, I said he's got them all terrified that Elon Musk will pay for a primary and primary them out of their seat. Well, it doesn't really matter, does it, if you're just going to lose your seat anyway. And also, I think that at this point, that threat is almost gone because everyone hates Elon Musk now. And you think they're going to vote for a candidate who's like, hey, you need to vote out your congressperson and put in this person who Elon Musk is financing. It's like, I don't think that's going to work. And people don't like Elon Musk. And he's all over the Twitter crying, I don't understand why everybody hates me. I ain't never done nothing wrong to nobody. But you look at his fucking Twitter feed and all he does is fucking spew fucking hate shit all fucking day and call people retarded. And he's an asshole. I don't know why I can't just be a fucking rich asshole. Why everybody doesn't just love me. It's unbelievable These people, and also he just was on Joe Rogan what, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, said empathy is the downfall of Western civilization, right? And now he's on the Twitter asking for your empathy. The blatant self unawareness of these people is mind blowing. It's like, oh, empathy's bad unless you, I want you to feel sorry for me, then it's good. Everything's about them. Don't you get that? They're sociopaths, these people. They don't give a fuck about anybody but themselves. And that's the real truth. Everything Trump said to you about, oh, I'm your this, I'm your retribution, and I'm that. Well, maybe he is. You know, if all you want to do is see the government burn, then you love Trump. Because he's burning the government. I mean, and you don't work for it, so you don't care. But a lot of people that work in the government voted for Trump, and now he's stabbing them right in the back. He doesn't give two fucks about them. And the fact that all these people voted for him, I find amazing too. It's like, dude, what the fuck did you think he was gonna do? It's like, oh, he's gonna be different. It's like, no, he's gonna be worse. Because the first time there were people there stopping him. That's why he cleared out the government immediately, because he's like, well, I can't have all these people in here that are gonna tell me I can't do all this stuff. That's why the judges are the only thing left. Now they turn around and they want to try to get rid of them. So let me get this straight, right? If you don't support everything Donald Trump does, you're an activist. Somehow. It's like, I would counter that by saying, no, you're a fucking fanatic. If you think that you should just let this guy do whatever the fuck he wants, and no matter how many people get hurt or how many rights are erased and violated, and no, he should be allowed to do all that, then you're a fanatic, bro. Fascist. Some guy said to me that he didn't care if those people didn't have criminal records, that if they were sent to the Supermax prison. And I was like, oh, hold on a second. So you're telling me that if a guy crosses a border looking for a job, and he's not a criminal, he's just looking for a job, that he belongs in a Supermax prison now, then you, sir, are a fucking Nazi. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You're a full-fledged Nazi. And they go, oh, you just can't just call people Nazis that you disagree with. No, it's not that just that I disagree with you. It's that you're a fucking Nazi, bro. You just said that a guy with no criminal record should be sent to a Supermax prison in a third world dictatorship country, blocked, basically disappeared off the face of the earth because he was trying to get a job picking strawberries or something. You gotta be fucking kidding me. And we haven't even got to that point where, you know, pretty soon there's lots of immigrants in this who are in this country right now who are afraid to leave their fucking house. Sooner or later, they're not going to show up to pick them fruits. You think Americans are going to do that? No. But you know what will happen? I guarantee you, because these rich people, they're fucking ingenious and unscrupulous. They will have inmates from jails picking their fruits. From the inmates from the for-profit jail will be picking their fruits for $1 a day. You think I'm kidding? No, that's what's going to happen. If the immigrants really stop showing up to work, because otherwise the fruit's just going to sit there and rot. I haven't followed up on that grain that was in Kansas since they canceled the USA. There's no way to buy that grain. I mean, it's been long enough. I'm sure it's fucking rotten by now. Or now it's moldy and it's like you fucking eat it and on to burn witches and shit. Just start tripping. The old grain tripping. Start thinking your neighbor's a witch and you need to set her on fire. I don't know how we got here, folks. We're only 2 months in, and it's already a shit show of epic proportions. And I said the world order has already been fucked up. Today, I said, well, the German parliament, they already raised their debt ceiling and they increased the amount of defense spending they're going to do. And then they already said today they're going to give Ukraine, I don't know, $10 billion or some shit. So people are stepping up to try to fill the void. And now, can they? I don't know. What I think is going to happen is this. The rest of the world is going to gather together and they're going to form another kind of coalition and they're going to run the world and the world's going to keep going. And what we're going to do is fall into a recession, maybe a depression, because he's going to tank the economy. I mean, it's already on the way. Julia says that's probably their plan. Look at the stocks for the for-profit prison industry. Didn't the stocks spike last week? Yeah, well, because they think they're going to lock up all these immigrants. But like I said, they're already running out of immigrants to lock. Soon they'll be going around, like I said, he's going to revoke the protected status of all the protected immigrants that are here, and they're going to try to deport them. And then when they run out of them, then they're going to fucking they'll just start deporting little old ladies. There was a store in New Jersey that I should mention because it's a what I like to call glimpses of humanity amongst the chaos. They came into this town in New Jersey, ICE did, and they fucking arrested this couple that ran a kebab shop. Now their son was born here, so he's a citizen. So they couldn't arrest him, but they arrested his parents. And they were going to deport them. And the whole town rallied out. The whole town got out in the street. The whole town was like, these are good people. They do good things for the community. They feed homeless people and handicapped veterans, and they're good people. And the mayor and I said all of the townspeople were out in the street, lining the street, and they all signed petitions and sent these petitions, and they got them out. They're back. First they released the father, but the mother was still in detention, and then they let the mother out too. Now I think they have some kind of hearing or whatever, so they're not out of the woods, but they got them out of detention, where they would have been sitting with, you know, the criminal, the real criminals, or whoever the fuck. I mean, who even knows? That's the other thing, is these people lie so much. And they're like, well, you got to take our word for it. Well, you lie every 5 seconds. So why in the fuck would anyone take your word for anything? Hey, I got an idea. You want people to trust you? Stop fucking lying all the time. It's like I said before. Their whole philosophy is bullshit. It's all based on bullshit. It's a house of cards propped up on a big stack of fucking bullshit. And when they run against real life, you can't manufacture real life. He's only been in office for 2 months. They've already ran out of criminals. You know why? Because there weren't that many criminals to begin with. If you look at the statistics, immigrants commit crime at a lower level than citizens. Which means, I don't know the numbers, but like if you had 1,000 citizens, how many murderers would be in that, number? Probably, 5, 10, maybe. That's probably a high number. There's not that many. Well, that's not true. There's a lot of murders. Not a lot, okay? So, and then if you take the same number of immigrants, that number would be even smaller. Because They don't commit crimes at the same rate as citizens. It's a bullshit story designed to scare you. It's just like the eating the cats and dogs thing. They weren't eating cats and dogs. I hate to break it to you. They weren't. They made up that story. It's a bullshit story. And when they were like, oh, can you show us? Here's a TikTok video of a guy holding a goose, you know. It's like, this proves. It's not real. It's made up. It's a fear-mongering tactic. And it's also a divide and conquer tactic. You know, if you're against them, then you go, yeah, and then you let them do to them what they eventually want to do to you. And once you let them get away with it, they can do it to you. So buckle up. I have a feeling it's going to get bumpy. But I say I relish the fight. Like I don't look forward to fighting them if I have to. But I also am not going to run away from them. You know, everyone has a duty as an American citizen to stand up for freedom around the world and here. It's your freedom. That's why I'm amazed at how many people there are in this country that just seem willing to just give away their freedom. Because they like this orange guy from the TV. I'll never understand how this happened. I never thought I'd be living through this. But here we are. So, it is what it is. I don't even know what else to say. Just know this. If you're watching TV or you listen to the radio and you hear people talking and they never ever one fucking time say, you know, I don't know if I agree with what this guy's doing, you know, in this particular instance. Like, this is what you don't hear from the Trumpers. And they tell you it's not a cult. But when you cannot criticize a person at all, ever. That Scott Jennings, if he was putting people on trains and sending them to Auschwitz, Scott Jennings would figure out a way to try to make that sound like it was good for America. On TV, like that's their job. They call them commentators. Not commentators. They're fucking nutlickers. Their job is to push the fucking agenda, whatever that is. Yes, Julia, the stupid lie about the litter boxes. I guarantee it. Litter boxes in schools. I guarantee it's not true. Yes, exactly. It's not true. It never was. It was like some ridiculous bullshit story was on the internet somewhere. Someone read it and was like, oh, look at that. I think it was Joe Rogan even who helped to foster that fucking stupid story. That's the other thing. Listen, Joe Rogan is not a source of information. I don't know if I have to tell you this. I mean, what I'm doing here now is way more of a source of information than Joe Rogan ever it was. All Joe Rogan does is go, oh, you know, I saw on the TikTok that there was a litter box in schools. And people go, oh my God. First of all, I don't watch fucking TikTok. Second of all, everything I tell you on this show, I either read somewhere in articles written by news organizations, or I saw them on TV, CNN or MSNBC. I watch Fox News even, or I heard it on the radio. I don't make up shit to try to, you know. That's the problem. Is these things that are supposed to be sources of information aren't sources of information. They become propaganda outlets where they just tell you what they got to tell you to try to push their agenda. I don't have no agenda except for preserving your fucking freedom and mine. You know, that's it. But I do want to be a voice that's fighting against this, and I make no bones about it. But I don't give a fuck what they want to put in their stupid tax policy or whatever the fuck they want to do. That's fine. We've lived through it numerous times. It'll fail miserably, and a Democrat will have to come back into office and fix the fucking economy. And, they get 4 or 8 years to fix it, and then people are sick of that. They go, vote the Republicans back in. And then they come in and fuck it all up again. Trump is just that on steroids. He's fucking up shit like on a level that no one's ever seen before. It's only been 2 months. Look at all the damage he's done. You think in 6 months or a year it's going to get better? It ain't going to get no fucking better. It's going to get worse. And I predict in a year's time he'll have lost half of the mega cult will start to break. Because, like I said, reality itself is hitting them in the face now. I mean, they lived in their comfortable little fantasy bubble for long enough where they, point owning the libs is fun until they take away your Social Security check. Owning the libs is fun until you ain't got no job. Owning the libs is fun. Here's something they're doing, and this is 100% true. Again, not making it up. They're getting rid of all the phone services for Social Security. They want to make people have to physically come and show themselves to claim Social Security. Well, that means 75 to 80,000 people trying to show up to offices, and they're closing those offices as well. So there'll be less offices and more people that have to go to them. You think it's fucking hard sitting in there now? We went to the Social Security office for my mom because she lost her Social Security card and she needed to get a new one. We went down there. We had to sit there for 3 fucking hours. Just for that. What do you think it'll be like when there's only one office in the whole fucking city and there's no phone call to make? You can't do nothing online. It's going to be a fucking shit show. And then they'll say, oh, well, just like I told you, they'll be like, well, you know what we could do is we could privatize this. It'll be better service, and that's why they're going to try to do this to you. It's a bait and switch. They destroy the thing, it doesn't work, and they go, oh, look, it doesn't work. You know what'll fix it? Letting us take control. And make money off of it. That's the end game. It's always been the end game. They want to privatize everything. If you ask me, they need to be deprivatizing shit. Like, they need to get rid of these prison companies. It's an abhorrent idea to make money off locking people up. It's disgusting. Should never have existed in the first place. It never should exist on the face of this fucking earth. Yeah, Julia says, so apparently they started a new news channel, state propaganda network, basically. I think it's called Voice of America. Yes, but they didn't start it. What they did was they cleaned it out, and now they've replaced it with, I think they got Carrie Lake running it. Remember Carrie Lake? Mrs. I never lost no elections. They're all fixed on me. But yeah, basically, they said they're anti-Trump. Like I said, anything that doesn't say that Donald Trump should have ultimate power, authority as a godlike king to do whatever he wants means that it's anti-Trump. Anyway, like I was saying before, I think that Trump thought going into this tournament, well, I don't have to run again, so it doesn't matter. I can do whatever the fuck I want because, if the voters all turn against me, it don't matter. I'm not running again anyway. So he doesn't need the, what they call it, political capital. But see, he didn't count that these people are going to come out in the streets or have strikes or whatever. We're 2 months in already. We're Republicans can't have a town hall without getting screamed at. You think that in 6 months or a year it's going to get better for them? No, no, it's not. It's going to get worse. And like I said, people that voted for Trump are starting to wake up and realize that hey, I think I fucked up, He's already at what, 42% or something. That's another thing that the guy on the radio was like, oh, the judge is trying to get in the way of what the majority of the American people want. And it's like, dude, he has not got a majority. He's never had a majority. He's got about a 42% approval rating right now. I mean, and it was higher when he first took office, but it's already fucking tanking. So he's got a 42% approval level. I think they said 34% of the population identifies themselves as hardcore MAGA. So he's got like a third. That's not the majority of people. Again, lies. All they do is lie. Julia says he won't have to run again if the Constitution is rendered null and void, no more elections. But see, I don't believe that can happen. I mean, I believe it can happen, but if they try to nullify the Constitution itself, I do believe at that point there will be a war. A civil war. People aren't going to take that. I don't believe. Like I said, people are already turning. What I see is giving me hope. I will admit I was starting to get into a dark place of, it's hard to feel hope and starting to despair a little bit. Like, well, I guess everybody's just going to lay down and let this happen. But it doesn't look like that's the case. It looks like people are starting to wake up and realize. I said, if they don't do something, they're going to lose everything. And they might still lose everything, but if we get rid of them, we can put it back. It might take a while, but... and everything he's done, like I said, is by executive order, which means the next president can just erase his whole fucking history. First day. That's why they're trying to go so fast and so hard. And I said, I don't think that they realize it. And it is true. The real power in this country is the people. If enough people get mad, enough people get in the street, and like I said, my dad and them, she'd say, oh, you're going to put the military on. I don't believe the military will attack Americans on American soil. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who might, but there's also a lot of people in the military who be like, fuck you. As a matter of fact, they might turn to the other side. We've already been through this once. You're really going to make us go through this again? And like I told you, shout for them. They don't seem to realize that they're the minority of fucking people. They're loud, they're angry, and sometimes they bubble up and they take control, they get some power. But like it never works out for them in the long term because most people aren't fucking Nazis. And eventually, maybe these other countries of Europe and them will come and rescue us, or at least help out. And we'll crush these people. And if that's what has to happen, that's what has to happen. And they probably still won't learn their fucking lesson. They'll crawl off to their fucking dark alt-right dungeons and they'll stay there for 20 years and then they'll bubble back up. Seems to be a cycle. Sometimes it takes longer than 20 years. Like I said, this time it was 50 years, or let's see, World War II ended. That's 70 years, maybe 75 years. They bubble up again. Yes, Julia, so we got Sons of Liberty and Cliff Cash, 50501, other organizing protests all over the country, and they're growing. Yes! Yes, they are. And I want to be part of that. I want to be, like I said, I want to be a voice. I'm screaming into the void right now. I need people to help. I need... spread the word! I'm trying to make a show that's entertaining on some level, but is also informative, and you can learn something when you watch it. I do my best to try to research things and come up with topics, things to talk about. factual, like I said, information that you may or may not know. You know, people work. I know this shit. You know, they got lives. Everybody can't. Everybody's not sitting around in their mom's house like me with nothing to do. I know you do, Juliet. You're here all the time, and I appreciate you for it. Oh shit! You stayed focused for most of the time. And all of a sudden now it's gonna get all wacky at the end. And I do appreciate it. I appreciate every single person that's watched this show. And I hope that more do, and I hope that you tell your friends. Because I'm gonna keep doing it. Because I have to. Maybe I'm mentally ill. I still think I can make a difference. It's probably delusional on some level. But anyway, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I went to the NCAA tournament game last night. It was very exciting, and Xavier won. Yay! The local team. I'm not a huge fan of them, but it's always cool to, you know. Then because it was close, the arena was packed with Xavier fans, so it felt like a Xavier home game, and the crowd was all electric and screaming. And, it was nice. It was good to get out of the house. And sports is like a good mindless distraction. For a couple hours, I didn't think about this shit, you know. Although that's a lie, because the military was there, and they had a bunch of people who had just joined the military, you know, young kids, and they put them all on the floor in between the games, and they had them all swear in their military oath, and I couldn't help but look at them and think, man, I wonder how many of them fucking regret joining the military now because of Trump. I'm sure there's some, because there was all colors. There were, you know, white kids, black kids, Hispanic kids. You're like, oh, I'm sure some of them don't want to do this now. Once you sign them papers, they own your ass. Ain't no turning back. You have to do something ridiculous to get kicked out. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you for watching, and I'll be back on Saturday. And I can't guarantee you, but Daniele might be here again on Saturday, because Saturday is his day. If he's available, he comes on the show. And last time he was on, we had a really good conversation, I thought. He's a very interesting dude. So please tune in on Saturday. And I'm going to get out of here. I am Bruce Leonard. And this is Bruce Leonard Leans Left. Wow, it's still legal. I think it's still legal. Let me check. Thank you very much. I said I'll be back on Saturday. Thank you. Good night.